record. Is it recording? It's recording. Hey guys, this is Robert C. Foley, the founder of Pink Think, with my co-founder Jackie Foley.
Hey,
I don't like
welcome
to think
back.
of it. I don't like to think of it that way, though. I think we kind of are more of a
Partners
unit.
in this.
Yeah, not more like, oh, I did all the work. I don't think that way.
Mhm.
But anyway, what are we talking about today, Jackie?
I believe we are talking about Joe Biden's policies in the upcoming election.
Sure as hell are. Let's share the screen really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what is this? Okay,
All
I guess
right,
we'll
here
share.
we go.
Okay, can you see me doing all this?
It just pulled up a screen, but now it's gone.
Okay, let me just open Safari.
Yeah, take
Then
your
let me
time.
go back to Zoom. Then share the screen. There we go.
All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
I have to reach Joe Biden 2020. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to go to, let's see, speaker view. Let's go to gallery view. Oh, we already are in gallery view. Okay. Then let's actually, sorry, folks. Let's actually go to,
technical.
let's go to, yeah, let's go to speaker view, actually. So now you can see me, right?
I can still see you, but I can't see your screen.
Here we go.
There we go.
Why is it not?
It's all ads, but there's Joe Biden right down there.
Okay. So,
All right.
we don't want to donate. Let's see. Where is his policies? I keep forgetting. I think I'm going to have
Look at
to
the
move
menu.
temporarily. There it is. Just to get you out of the way for a minute. So not Joe's story, not Kamala's story, although that would be interesting to read. We're going to Joe's vision. Usually they say on the issues, but he says Joe's vision. And we do not keep getting. All right. What of these looks the most interesting to you?
Interesting to you. Well, made in all of America by all of America's workers. I believe we were touching on that last time, what with Trump failing to do so. So let's take a look.
Okay. Joe Biden will mobilize a talent, grit, and innovation. We're not going to read the whole thing, but let's go to the main points. U.S. manufacturing was the arsenal of democracy in World War II. And must be a part of the arsenal of American prosperity today, helping fuel the economy for working families. This is what I'm talking about. Let me go to gallery view. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This would help the economy very much. And I guess it did during World War II. I'm not a historian. But just think about how much that would help. So we're going to go into detail on what exactly it is. But the American story has always been deeply rooted in our ability to reinvent. Dang it. Why is it not letting me? There we go. And no, I don't want to donate. Okay, so let's go to the main points. The Trump tax cut encouraged offshoring and investment overseas, not in the United States. Foreign investment was outpacing domestic investment.
True that.
In the first 18 months of Trump's presidency, the rate of federal contractors offshoring jobs more than doubled. In 2018, stock buybacks were at the record highs and corporate tax payments were at record lows. In 2019, U.S. manufacturing was in recession, and Trump's much vaunted China trade strategy ended up contributing to a decline in American manufacturing. Buy American, make Buy American real, and make a $400 billion procurement investment. That, together with the Biden Clean Energy and Infrastructure Plan, will power new demand for American products, materials, and services, and ensure they are shipped into U.S. flagged cargo. Make it in America. Retool, vitalize American manufacturers. So,
innovate in America. Make a new $300 billion investment in research and development and breakthrough technologies. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So, what exactly is this plan? Let's go over that. What is the plan?
It looks like he's planning to reinvest back in America, back in American innovations, American technologies, American products and services, and markets. So it sounds like he really wants to stop the kind of offshoring jobs, low corporate taxes, the things that made it so that it's cheaper for companies to go overseas during the Trump administration. And I think that's really a good plan.
Yeah, and basically, made in America would mean the federal government can only buy things made in America. That's pretty good.
America.
America. I was gonna wear my cowboy hat so I would look more like a patriot, but I have my swamp hat on, so I think it's good enough. I know this is stupid to ask you, but can you just flip your hat around? I'm curious of something.
Oh.
Okay, that was what I was asking you. Is it a flat hat? So that is a flat hat. Okay, you can put it however you want now. Let's go back to sharing the screen.
And let's move on.
Yeah. Tax and trade strategy. I think that's very important. Trading. Tariffs are smart, but you can't just do what Trump did with Mexico, I think it was, where you just slap on a tariff. You have to do tariffs smartly. You have to do tariffs, in
the right way.
But I'm a protectionist in that sense. So let's go down. Let's move this little thing down. And I'm gonna have to.
You can just go back. Yeah, that's fine.
Menu, Jones Vision.
All right. Why don't you pick a next one now?
Okay. I'm not really interested in reopening schools safely. I know that sounds bad, but I think I know what he's gonna do. Basically, just a mixed thing, or and have protocol. So I know what that is.
It's not the pressing issue right now.
Plan for Black America, plan for immigration. Let's go to plan for women.
Yeah, that one interested me as well.
Let's go to the main things. Improve economic security, fighting for equable pay. That's good.
Great.
Expanding healthcare. This is important to me. This is probably one of the most important, besides probably the gap in wealth inequality. But expand access to high quality, affordable healthcare for women. Now, this is probably talking about reproductive rights, which is very important to me.
I would imagine.
Let's
very
talk
important
about
to me
that.
as well.
Is it important to me because I love abortion? I think it's the best thing in the world, and I think it's great, and every woman should go out and get an abortion. No, it's because I think women should have the choice, and I think if you force them to have a child, it can ruin their life.
It can. It really can.
What if it's a 16-year-old who made a mistake?
Exactly.
You can force them to have a child, and
people are.
They are, and these bills that were coming up, I don't remember, I think it was about a year or two ago, these bills that were coming up in other states. Do I sound clear? I'm just curious. Do I sound...
audio-wise?
Yeah, audio-wise. Okay, good. Because I don't want to sound like, like it's like in a vacuum, or not a vacuum, but like open warehouse. Anyway, what I was saying is, I think that it's important to give them access to abortion, but also I would try to reduce the number of abortions, not by banning it, not by putting more regulations on abortion, but for giving access to morning after pills, protection, things of that nature, because I think that would help. If you have protection, you're not going to have to worry about a baby in the first place. And
exactly. If you don't want a child and you have those morning after pills or that protection, if you have better access to that, that's going to negate the need for an abortion if you're practicing safely.
Exactly. Yeah. And I would fund Planned Parenthood. I would not defund Planned Parenthood. There was a question on that on this political test, and basically my answer was, it does more than abortion. It's more more than just abortion. So let's go to share screen again and keep going down the list. And then end violence against women. I think he did pass like the Violence Against Women Act. Yeah, 1994.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
That's about probably, assault and stuff.
I imagine. The Equal Rights Amendment. Interesting. Yes, I know about this.
So women are once enshrined. I'm not sure about that. I think I've heard the name, but I don't know exactly the details.
It's a proposed amendment that would put it into writing in the Constitution as an amendment that women and men have equal rights. It's been proposed a lot of times, but it's never passed and gotten amended into the Constitution.
I don't see why not. I mean,
I guess some people are like, oh, it's unnecessary. The Constitution already gives people equal rights, but we all know that's not really true in practice. It's
Yeah.
just
We don't have paid
maternity leave. Yeah.
maternity leave. Pretty much every other developed country does. And that's basically, if I'm not mistaken, that is like, if you're pregnant, you get paid maternity leave, basically.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose mom was fired for being pregnant.
Oh my God. Yeah. And that happens all over America.
Now, luckily, she sued their ass and they got in
Good.
big trouble.
Good. Because that's under maybe Title IX. I don't know, but that's
I don't
not
know.
legal.
I thought Title IX was like, I'm not really
It's
sure. Title IX.
schools and protecting people from gender-based discrimination there, I know at least, and ensuring fair
I
sporting.
thought there was like a Title IX offender or something like that, though.
Not sure.
I'm not really sure. Anyways, let's go to share screen.
Let's go back.
Either way, the point is it's very discriminatory and very
And we need more practices like
not
the Equal
racist,
Rights Amendment.
sexist. I keep screwing up my words.
Racist.
I mean, I'm sure in some spots it is like, okay, every dollar man makes, and it's even less for
Black women,
yeah,
women of color.
the wealth gap is even more, and the pay gap is even more for
Yeah.
women of color.
And that doesn't get acknowledged enough, that there's a disparity between women's, experiences with that and with the wage gap. Like there's intersectional femininity. It isn't all the same experience.
Exactly. Now, and discriminate. Yeah, that's perfect. And discrimination against pregnant and nursing workers.
Yeah, you were just saying.
Address
Beautiful.
harassment in the workplace. That's
absolutely
a problem for everybody, but specifically with women a lot. Double funding for. All right. Let's move on. But I'm sure his plan, it looks very rock solid.
Looks like some good policies here.
Yeah, very socially liberal. And I like that. We're going to get to some things that are not as liberal as I like to. But right now, he's looking pretty good. So let's go to the menu. Jeez. All right. Joe's vision. There we go. Bold ideas. Damn, they really want me to give him money.
They are really chasing after you. They must have known that mom donated to his campaign.
Yeah.
All right, what did you want to look at next?
Let's see. Let's go to healthcare because, let's go to criminal justice reform. This is very important to me. What's the main thing you think of when you think of criminal justice reform? We're both going to answer this question really quick.
Marijuana.
That was exactly what I was going to say. I thought you were going to maybe say something about police brutality, but that's also.
I would as well. Yeah, both of those.
But I would say that's the main thing we should push for because that has disproportionately affected minority communities. And we know, what do we know? Oh, geez. Very carbonated beverage. What do we know about the smoking rate of all the groups? Basically, people of color and whites smoke it at pretty much the same rate. And even if they didn't, it shouldn't be criminalized. It's a drug that people can use for personal use. Now, are there still things like, should you be able to go out to a movie theater and start smoking pot in the middle of a movie theater?
Of course not. I'm not saying that.
But if I'm in my house and I want to smoke a doobie, that should be my right. Also, should I be smoking pot while I'm driving a car? No.
No, that should also, just like you can't drive while drunk.
Yeah. So the facts are the drug war has been disproportionately used against minorities. And Nixon,
that was always what it was intended for.
Nixon admitted it. Too.
He did.
I wanted to correct something. I should have done this first thing, but there was something we said last week that's sort of iffy. That's not exactly true. So I said that Fred Trump was in the KKK. So the reason people said that, he was detained at a KKK rally.
Oh, I see.
He was arrested at a rally,
so he was attending it. But
that does bring into question, well, why was he there? But they don't know, I guess, if he was actually in it.
A member, we don't know. Okay. But it's always good to correct yourself if you say incorrect information.
Yeah. So let's share the screen again.
Yeah, let's go back to that.
How do you share audio?
I don't know. See, if there's subtitles, we can put them on just so we know that our viewers can see what's going on.
Let's see. That is loud as fook. That is
I
super
can hear
loud.
it. I can hear it very, very faintly.
Okay, then let's just put on the
Yeah,
closed
yeah.
captions
And hope
and
that
then
they're all right.
put it at half volume.
I'm not gonna be able to hear that. I can't hear it.
Okay. Good.
That's good.
Good. Very good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
Okay, so he's actually better than I thought.
You expected this to be a point where they disagree?
That's good. I thought he
Yeah.
was kind of because okay, let's go exit full screen and let's stop watching this. Let's stop where's my stop sharing. Okay. I didn't even think he was in favor of well, here's what he said that is kind of iffy for me. He said
Uh-huh.
decriminalize, and that's a good step. I would say legalize, tax, and regulate. First of
If
all,
we're going to be decriminalizing it, there need to be federal regulations on its
exactly.
sale, on its use, on its transportation.
Yeah. And if we do tax it, hey, that'll help the government a lot.
Yeah, I believe in the states where it is legalized and regulated, that's big boom for taxes and such.
Yeah. And then you don't have to raise the income tax rate as much.
Yeah.
But I mean, for high earners, you should, though. I'm not saying you shouldn't for high earners. Let's go to share screen again.
Something that really stood out to me in that video was treatment, not jail time for addicts. I think
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
really
it
good
is.
stance.
And ending private prisons. I knew he was for
Oh
that. I
yeah.
believe he's for ending cash bail, and that's something I also agree with. Why should you be able to pay to get out of jail?
So that crime is legal for rich people.
Yeah, exactly. So that you criminalize poverty, basically.
Yeah.
Rehabilitation, offering second chances. Mandatory minimums are very bad. Roughly 1 in 4 children in foster care will interact with the criminal justice system 2 years after exiting foster care. Too many people with mental health or substance use disorders are incarcerated.
Ooh,
It's
wow.
very important. I don't talk about this a lot, but I've had mental problems. I was hospitalized, but um, a lot of people who are homeless have mental problem issues, and it's
Mental
very
illnesses, yeah.
stigmatized, and it shouldn't be. Do you agree?
I
You
agree.
probably.
And the same goes for homeless people who are addicts, homeless people who have mental illnesses. These are people in need of help, but more often than not, they get mocked and they get looked down upon, and they don't get the help that they need for these serious struggles that they are facing.
And they look at it as, oh, it's your fault that you have a mental illness. It's your fault that you
It's
got
your
addicted.
fault that you got addicted, that you got yourself into this situation. And that's just not, it's not how addiction works. It is an illness. It's just not how poverty works. Yeah.
So when we talk about legalizing marijuana, taxing it and regulating it, let's talk about what that means for a second. Okay, Jackie?
Okay.
What
Yeah.
does that mean to you?
To tax and regulate marijuana
And legalize it, yeah.
and legalize it. That means a lot of, it means a much lower rate of people of color and Black people getting thrown into prison for drug use when it's, a one-time marijuana charge or just pot. It means that people will have safer access to it, that they won't be, taking a chance that there might be other dangerous drugs
Yeah,
laced
the
in their
black market.
marijuana.
Black market.
Black market marijuana when they buy it. They won't be going to drug deals with dangerous people. Oh boy, you're really having a time over there.
I'm all out.
I just think it'd be a lot safer.
Yeah.
For people who do use it.
What did I ask again? What does that mean? Okay, so that means let's talk about what it means for quite literally, like very literally. So that's what it means for justice. That's what it means for racial equality.
But how is that going to manifest? Yeah, tell me a bit about
So
that.
it's kind of interesting. You would think that it wouldn't be like since people of color and whites, whites, yeah, smoke it at the same rate. Then you would think, well, how is that a racial issue? Why is that? Well, they're basically just targeting them. The police are what is it called? racial profiling.
Yes, that's it.
And they're going after people, and it's implicit bias in a lot of these cases. Some places it's just explicit. Like they're
Explicit
like,
bias, yeah.
yeah, but like anyone like me, like if you see a black person walking down the street, you're like, oh, that's a black person. You have an implicit bias, and like there's no way to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying?
You were grown up. Well, you can
You
take
can,
those steps to unlearn it and to confront it.
yeah,
And that's something that every white person needs to do. We were all raised in a racist society. So even if you don't think you're racist, you were still raised with those implicit biases,
yeah.
and you still do think that way subconsciously.
But the point is, even if you're not racist, you still have these like biases.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's.
Have you ever seen a black man, a black person passing you on the street and, been afraid for no reason or wanted to cross to the other side of the street? Like, it's something that's ingrained in you.
I think maybe as a child, I was just confused on why they looked like that. Why are people different?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
It's a loaded statement.
Yeah, but now
the point is that white people need to address that they have privileges and biases.
Specifically cops, because look at Breonna
Very
Taylor.
much cops.
Look at George Floyd.
Yeah,
very
all those
bad.
people.
But yeah, anyways, I kind of want to move on. We kind of got
no, go ahead. We got off topic. We're talking about Joe Biden after all.
Yeah, but let's be real here. If Donald Trump is elected, is he going to legalize marijuana or not even legalize?
No.
Is he going to end private prisons? No.
He's not.
What am I going to do? I'm going to go to share screen and I'm going to go to Joe Biden. Okay.
That sounds
so
good.
Basically, the point is, folks, there's still a racist criminal justice system. There's still disparities. So let's go to menu. And we should end that, basically.
We need
It's been going on. I mean, the Civil Rights Act was a first step. It was not an end-all, be-all.
No,
you know
certainly not. Certainly not.
So let's move on from some of the racial issues and let's go to a more broad issue, which is healthcare.
Yeah, sure. And I think this is a point that you are not in total agreement with Mr. Biden on.
Absolutely. And I think even maybe not on criminal justice, but still I'm in more agreement. And also, give me a sec. Come on over here. We have a friend.
Oh, what friend is that?
Join us.
Oh, we have our first guest on the podcast. Now, why don't you introduce this little guy to all of us?
This is Cookie the Christ.
Cookie the Christ.
He's a black cat, and he's very good.
Be careful with how you're supporting him.
Okay, I'm gonna let him go.
Yep.
He was scratching his little post. So
cute.
But anyways, folks, and this also can probably tie into racial issues too, with healthcare. I mean, I'm sure there's disparities. Yeah, a lot of things do. There's still a lot of like economics, a lot of things. But let's just talk about the specific plan for healthcare. And let's watch this video and let me completely
get those captions on.
Let's get the captions. Okay. So let's go to full screen.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
I do remember that debate.
All right, that's enough. Was Obamacare good? Was Obamacare good? Let's talk about that. It was good. Was it great?
Debatable. Was it? Is it still exactly what we need right now? Is it still enough?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, it's so many people are dying from healthcare a year. Let's look that up right here.
Yeah, why don't you take a look at those stats? People unable to pay for their insulin. People who don't want to risk going to the hospital when they're very ill or they're very injured because they just can't afford it. They don't want to be in debt for the rest of their lives. The
Die
system is still broken, still not
Yeah.
working for a lot of people.
from health related issues, US.
CDC.
That should be
I mean,
good.
that might be.
Libertarians won't like that though.
Well, the government shouldn't be doing anything.
Anyway, number of leading causes. I want to just see. I think it was 40 or 50,000.
I would look it up, specifically to do with healthcare and lack of healthcare. Try putting in those words.
To health care. 45,000 deaths. This is from Harvard.
Annually linked.
Linked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
a lot of things. Would that go down under a public option, do you think, Jackie?
I think for Medicare for all.
Well, no, a public. This is, you know what a public option is?
No, go ahead and explain that to me.
Okay. So from what I know of a public option, it's basically you have an option to have a public option and it's provided by the government and it's cheaper. So it's like
I see.
the point, and this is why it's kind of like, why don't you just take it a step further, Mr. Biden? Why don't you just go to Medicare for all? Maybe why don't you start for a public option for the first 2 years, and then in the last 2 years maybe switch to Medicare for all? Because this would this is a stealth operative to take out the private insurance, in my opinion, because it'll go them out of business. And some Republican was like, oh my God, I mean, a public option would put private companies out of business. It's like,
Good.
that's good.
Yeah.
They're immoral. You shouldn't have to pay for healthcare. You go to these countries who have a $50,000 operation, you walk out of there without paying one penny.
Yeah. It's all for profit.
And that's wrong. That's very wrong. And about the getting rid of Obamacare, like they admit they want to get rid of Obamacare. It's like, well, from Democrats so no Democrats. This is what the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are like, let's get rid of Obamacare and keep making it more private and
not
have any replacing
it with anything.
The Democrats are like, let's have this, which will in turn make Obamacare obsolete.
Yes.
So it's like a huge difference. I wouldn't say they're trying to get rid of Obamacare, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just
you can't equivocate them.
Yeah. So let's go back to share screen.
Yeah, let's. Give every American access to affordable health insurance.
That is really weaselly, in my opinion. Really
access to affordable health insurance, not
exactly
give them health insurance.
Yeah. Giving Americans a new choice, a public health insurance option like Medicare. If your insurance company isn't doing right by you, you have another better choice. Whether you're covered through your employer, buying your insurance on your own, or going without coverage altogether, the Biden plan will give you a choice to purchase a public health insurance option like Medicare. As in Medicare, the Biden public option will reduce costs for patients negotiating lower prices from hospitals and other health providers. It also will better coordinate among all of the patients. Okay, so it's a good plan. It's not far enough.
Yeah.
So at the end, I want to talk about primaries and midterm elections and want to go into that. And then I want to ask our secret question of the week.
Oh.
Which you know what it is because I told you it, but we're not going to.
What? No, I don't know what it is. Come on.
We talked about it yesterday.
I don't remember.
Okay, then it'll be a surprise again. Oh, okay. Okay, Joe's vision.
To keep up the illusion.
Let's go. We're going to do 2 more, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Actually, now that I'm looking at some of these, I kind of want to do 3 more.
Take as many as you want.
LGBTQ plus
equality. I'd love to look at that.
And that rings true with both of us because we're both supporters, and we're both. We both supported marriage equality, and
we did. Yeah.
Support. I think it's called the Equality Act.
Yeah.
But we'll go with,
LGBTQ rights mean a lot to both of us.
yeah. So opioids and substance. So what was it? It was for college.
College, yes. Let's look at that one. That one's I'm
I
interested
don't
in.
see it though. Why don't I not see it?
Try Control F, University, College.
University. Wait, sorry, give me a sec. Starting American leadership. Agenda for the Black, AAPI, Indian American, Jewish, Muslim American. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Environmental justice. So that's what I was going to talk about.
Okay.
Let's just go to campaign finance reform.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sounds interesting. Let's just go to specific points because we don't have a lot of time.
Yep. Yeah.
Reduce the corrupting influence of money and pop.
I love
That's
that.
another weasel, although to me, like,
Oh, yeah.
I would
explain.
say corporate PACs, like, just make all elections publicly financed.
Yeah, I don't think corporate PACs and super PACs should have as much influence, should have any influence overall politics.
Yeah, exactly, because it's corruption, basically. Constitutional amendment to entirely eliminate private dollars from our federal elections.
Interesting.
That sounds very good, actually. So now I'm looking good. Keep foreign money out of our elections. That's good.
Oh, absolutely. Let's keep
restrict super PACs. That sounds another restrict. So it's kind of indirect money groups, require real time. Ban corporate PAC contributions to candidates and prohibit lobbyists. That is very good.
Yeah.
So he would be way better. It sounds like he's going to be way better on corruption than Trump is, because Trump was like,
pretty much anyone would
drain the swamp. Did he do that?
He drank the swamp water. That's what he did.
That's what he did, exactly. So that was a little issue we just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, very quick.
But where is it? It should be right next to K through 12.
For housing, for Catholic.
I'll just look in here.
Joe Biden's agenda for students.
Joe Biden's agenda.
Right there on the right.
That's probably it.
Let's take a look.
Okay, here it is. Right in the middle. Okay. Joe Biden will provide 2 years of community college and other high-quality training program without debt or any hardworking individual looking to. Okay. He will also make 4-year public colleges and universities tuition-free for students whose family incomes are below $125,000. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it doesn't go far enough. I think that public universities should be tuition-free anyway.
Yeah, they should just be tuition-free for someone who's making $1 million even. I mean, like, because the principle of it is it's a right.
Yeah, the principle is that it is a right. It's not a privilege. It's not something that you buy or sell. It is something that every American should have access to, regardless of their income, regardless of where they're from, anything like that.
Yeah. Let's go to share screen again. And then, what is HBCUs? Have you heard that term?
No.
I think it's historically Black community universities. He probably has something about funding those, because let's be honest, folks. There's definitely disparities in funding of schools. And because let's talk about the history of racism in our country. So what was the first?
With Joe Biden? What was go on?
Okay, so, and this is why we need to fund schools across the board equally. So anyways, what's the first thing that pops into your head about the history of racism in our country?
I mean, if we're talking about after slavery was ended, then the Jim Crow era and the disparities between what Black people and white people had access to.
Yeah, I was going to say slavery, but yeah, you would obviously say if that slavery was first, but then Jim Crow. And let's be honest, folks, what do we have in this country right now? We have a new Jim Crow. It's called the criminal justice system.
Go off.
So basically, look at Breonna Taylor. Look at George Floyd. Look at Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice.
That's an old one.
But a young one.
Yeah, so look at that, and then tell me there's not a problem.
There is a problem. There is a complete problem. People like to look back on the civil rights movement and think that it was so long ago and that things are so much better now, but really we haven't gone far enough. We haven't done enough for the Black community, for people of color, to ensure that that they really are protected and equal in America.
Ensure education and training. Okay, so reliable path to the middle class. End our gun violence epidemic.
Absolutely.
Federal background check. Let's talk about that. End the online sales of firearms and ammunitions.
Mm-hmm.
That would be good. No, he wants to reduce the stockpiling. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the stockpiling of weapons.
Oh, yeah.
So, does it sound reasonable to reduce stockpiling of weapons to you?
Stockpiling, is that like having dozens of guns?
Yeah, like if you walked in my house and there was guns all over my house, on the walls, in the cabinets, in the drawers.
I have no idea what one person would need that many guns for.
Yeah. Exactly. So here's how it is. It's not radical. It is not radical, folks. People think, oh, he wants to take away your guns and end the Second Amendment. No, he doesn't. You can still buy a gun. You can't buy. I think he's in favor of a assault weapons ban.
Yeah. Because why would you need an assault weapon?
Exactly.
Hello.
And a mandatory buyback. That sounds pretty reasonable. I would start with the voluntary at first and then move into a mandatory. That's just me. But of assault weapons, they're not going to go, give me your pistol. They're not going to do that. Give me your shotgun. Give me your hunting rifle. No.
The government isn't going to break down your door and steal all your guns in the dead of night.
And so basically, how many do you think he wants to reduce the amount of guns per month to that you can buy?
No clue. 2?
1.
That's
pretty reasonable. You can buy that means in a year you can get 12 guns. So if you have 5 years, then you could get
60 guns.
60 plus guns, almost probably over 70 guns. So let's go to share screen again. Let's talk about LGBT, and then we'll go to the environment. We'll save the best for last, which is environment.
5 times 12 is 60. But go.
12. Wait, what?
5 times 12 is 60. But go.
Oh, well, that just shows how good I am at math, folks.
This is why we're a politics channel.
Yeah, not a math channel. If you want a math channel, talk to our brother.
Yeah, he should start one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I really wish I could scroll up faster, folks.
Yeah. But we're getting by. There we go.
Bold ideas. Donald Trump will one-term president. Where is it? Let me know when you see it. There it is.
Which one? LGBT. Yep. Saving the best for last.
Yeah. Well, then we're gonna go to the environment.
Yeah. Good.
So Donald Trump and Mike Pence have given hate against the LGBT. So let's talk about this. So do you remember what Trump's whole thing with the LGBT thing was like? Oh, I'm in support of it, whatever.
Yeah.
Remember his flag?
I do, holding the flag.
Does that make sense when he picks Mike Pence?
I was just about to say, call that a hate crime, honestly. He just wants to get LGBT people's votes, whatever few LGBT Republicans there are out there that support him. I hope you get better soon. But then he actually turns around and does things like the transgender military ban.
That is absolutely terrible, by the way.
Picking a running mate who supports conversion therapy.
Well, okay, so this is what I'm going to talk about because I said this in a video that I talked about LGBT stuff. So I kind of fact checked it a little bit. So he's not explicitly come out in favor of conversion therapy, but guess what he says he favors?
What?
It's like, let me look up the exact
wording
because it's
good to be accurate.
It literally sounds exactly like conversion therapy. It's like so vague, but it sounds like exactly like conversion therapy.
But he's a known bigot.
This is my video. Let's play it actually. Conversion therapy, you go to this place and they try to like. Let's skip ahead to the funny part where I scream at Mike Pence.
Trying to go against
your...
I want to hear that.
Okay, here it is.
It's biology. against your biology.
Can you hear it okay?
They're really
Yeah.
against biology. If you're against homosexual, against your biology, literally do these weird rituals. They try to brainwash you into trying to go against your biology. They're really against biology. If you're against homosexuality, you're really against biology, because we've seen it in other animals. I mean, we've seen it all over the animal kingdom, and it does absolutely no harm. So as long as it's between consenting adults, it does no harm.
Yeah.
And in most cases, it is for both homosexuality and heterosexuality. So there's nothing wrong with it, folks. But these people that are in favor of conversion therapy,
Here it is.
they're really
Funny.
terrible people. Mike Pence, I'm sure, is in favor of it. Mike Pence is a piece of crap. Folks, sorry, got a little bit heated there. He's a piece of crap, folks. Anyway.
He is though.
Yeah. So anyway, that was funny, but it's true. He is.
He is.
So apparently Mike Pence isn't in favor of gay conversion therapy, but he is in favor of seeking to change their sexual behavior.
That's literally just trying to be straight. That's conversion.
Putting lipstick on a pig. Folks.
Yeah.
Ban it at the federal level. I'm sorry. I'm sick of this shit. Ban it at a federal level across the board. It's immoral. It's backwards. That's like, should we do waterboarding? Should we do the death penalty? It's like that, you know, it's for me at least. I mean, like,
it's one of those issues.
It's very barbaric.
It's absolutely horrible. It's traumatizing. Bigoted parents use it to brainwash their kids and to abuse their kids who come out as gay.
I saw like an interesting video of a woman who did that and then she later really regretted it. And she's like, it's really terrible. I'm really embarrassed and just sad with myself for putting him through that. Basically, she had a son or whatever who was gay, and but it's terrible, folks. Protect LGBTQ plus people from discrimination. That's very important. Support LGBTQ youth.
Very important.
So many people who are gay, who are bisexual, who are transgender, who are whatever, are kicked out of the house.
I was going to mention it earlier when we were talking about homeless people. There is a high number of LGBTQ youth who are on the streets, homeless people who were kicked out. Yeah.
That I mean, and then he's talking about globally. That's interesting and good. Advance global LGBT rights. Maybe like do not any obviously military, that would be stupid, but do maybe some tariffs or something to try to, if they're or just cut ties with them. If they're anti-LGBTQ, like some of those countries. Russia is very LG. I'm pretty sure Saudi Arabia, the government is probably like countries like that are, I remember India made it legal to be gay, so they couldn't kill you or something, and that was like a big step. But like, it's still not legal to marry them. But I would try to do that across the board. I think that's a good idea, and that's strange for me to say because I'm a big isolationist, actually.
There is no global government where we can propose that.
Yeah, but I think it's important because people who live in other countries need to have the same rights as us.
Absolutely.
Because like Russia is very homophobic from what I remember. Which
absolutely.
Because how many people are gay in Russia? Probably about the same number. Probably about the same percentages.
But they insist they don't have gay people in Russia.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting, but you can't get rid of them, folks. I mean, and you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
They're good people, just like straight people. Anyway, half of LGBTQ plus Americans live in states without the adequate civil rights protections. They can get married on Sunday and the very next day get fired under state law because of who they. That's not good. The Equality Act is the best vehicle for ensuring equal rights under the law. Biden will he will enact the Equality Act in the first 100 days. Perfect. Empower federal agencies to be champions of equality, protect LGBT employment, reaffirm the Civil Rights Act prohibits employment discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Yeah.
Support transgender and non-binary people in the workplace. Sorry, I'm having trouble saying things.
That's all right.
Transgender people, non-conforming people, very important to protect them, folks.
They face a lot of discrimination. In the
reverse the transgender military ban.
Yeah.
Very important.
Wow.
Why was that ever enacted in the first place? Why was that ever proposed in the first place? Support LGBTQ plus veterans. This is important. First act. Don't ask, don't tell. Remember that?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Absolutely terrible. Basically, I guess I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's basically like it's fine if you're gay, but just don't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, you can't talk about it. Like, yeah.
And like for me, it's just like, I mean, I don't talk about me being bisexual a lot because I've said it before. I don't think it's that important.
It
But
doesn't come up in everyday conversation.
if they find out, oh, he's not straight, I shouldn't be kicked out of the military. Shouldn't be done anything. I mean, that's just. But and then the Supreme Court ruling legal same-sex marriage, very good. The recent one, which prohibits discrimination in housing, I believe.
Good. Yeah. Good.
That was. Do you remember that? Very recent, actually, like this year. It was a Supreme Court case, and even some of the Republicans. You know who didn't support it though?
Who?
Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh. I knew you wouldn't.
Yeah, he's an ass. Anyway, reinstate protections.
Hey.
Homelessness.
Yeah, we were just saying.
Support seniors. Affirm one's gender marker and.
Yep.
What does that mean? I'm just.
Like on your government documents, you have male or female M and F for your assigned gender at birth. This is just talking about being able to accurately update your documents to reflect your gender identity. And some people say that isn't going far enough, that you shouldn't have gender markers on your federal documentation and stuff, because people have said, oh, we need a third gender option, like an X for non-binary people. But people have brought up, if you're pulled over and you have to give your ID to a cop and they see that you're trans, or that you don't, or that you don't, like your presentation doesn't conform to what is on your ID, and they're bigoted, you can get in a lot of trouble because of that. Like they could decide that they're going to arrest you for nothing, or that they're going to beat you up, or anything like that. So it's
Stonewall, I believe. That was Stonewall.
Mm-hmm.
Heard of that?
Martha P. Johnson threw the first brick at a cop.
That was
started the LGBT civil rights movement.
Very brave. Back then, not a lot of people supported it. But I think deep down they did. I think they just were brainwashed into some of this fundamentalist religious thinking sometimes, and just not understanding.
People don't have access to education about trans and gay and bisexual people and all that, and they just don't. They have a lot of preconceived notions and a lot of stereotypes that they see, and they just don't know. They don't think they know any LGBT people, and they have a lot of biases.
Well, let's talk about this. Who are these people? Who are the gay, bi, pan, all that, trans? Who are they? There are brothers, there are sisters, there are uncles, there are nephews, there are nieces, there are cousins, there are grandpas and grandmas and uncles and all different things.
They're your hosts here at the Pink Thing.
They are. You probably know someone, maybe in your family, maybe yourself, maybe a friend who is part of the LGBTQ community. And
you might not know it, but you see a lot more people, LGBT people, than you probably think you do. It's not something that you can tell just by looking at them 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go to share screen, and then let's just probably look at it a little more and then move on to environment.
Yeah.
Because that's probably my number one thing, because we are literally going to die, folks.
Bro, the planet is dying.
The bees are dying. The
ice caps are melting.
The ice caps are
Amazon
melting.
is
The polar
burning.
bears are dying. The Amazon is burning. That's a really big one. That supplies our oxygen. Jeez,
Bro,
Red Bull is
we
still
need oxygen.
oxygen, folks. Work to end suicide among LGBTQ. That's important because it's very high in the LGBT community. Work to end suicide across the board too, because suicide is a very big problem, folks.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a thing. You probably know someone who's been suicidal, and you have nothing but love and support for them, and you want them to just come back to reality and just realize that it's not the answer.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be stigmatized. A lot of people stigmatize suicide.
It shouldn't.
I think
People shouldn't
September
be afraid to reach out for help.
I think September is suicide
Awareness Month?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Sounds
Actually.
like it. Yeah, I think so.
September suicide sounds like it makes sense. Anyway, let's go to the environment and then let's
And
wrap
then
it
we
up.
can wrap up here. We are going over our time.
Yeah. Luckily, I can upload anything up to 12 hours.
Yeah, good.
If I were to guess what agenda for the Muslim American communities, I don't know if he passed it. Did he pass the Muslim travel ban? I think it didn't pass, right? I think it
I
was
have no idea.
struck down.
I think it was struck down by the Supreme Court or something.
Yeah, because that is completely
But
unconstitutional
he definitely
and racist.
did it. And it was literally like the first days of his presidency. Like,
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, we're
trying
gonna
to be like, oh, I hope it won't be that bad. And then he's like,
We're going to temporarily stop Muslims from entering this country until we figure out what the hell is going on.
what do you
Like,
mean? What are
what
you
do you
talking
mean?
about?
Not every Muslim is a terrorist.
You can't.
What if
you
I said
can't.
every Christian wants to bomb an abortion clinic? That would be ridiculous.
It would be.
That's
It's
a handful of Christians.
complete.
A lot of those people are
Oversteer.
fleeing countries because there's problems there and they're coming to the America to look for a better life.
Yeah, there's war, famine, poverty.
And there's war there. Why is there war there?
Because we're
doing that?
bombing them.
Exactly. We're causing it. And it seems weird, honestly. I know this sounds weird, but it's like, wow, they're coming to the place that's bombing them. But I mean, honestly, we're causing these problems. I mean,
Well,
and
we're a big country, and we are one of the most. What am I trying to say? We have opportunities, is what I'm trying to say here. It's a big
Yeah.
country. You can't just generalize it by our government, just like we can't generalize Middle Eastern countries by their governments or by who rules them.
yeah,
But anyway, a little off topic.
yeah. Why am I not finding it?
Environmentalism, and then we're
Climate
going-
change.
Yep, there we go.
Let's watch this. Let's see if I like it. I
Closed
probably will
captions.
like it a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is a long video, but yeah, he does deny it. He absolutely denies it. He says,
Oh, we've looked and it's been changing for a while. And it's like,
well, it's been going up and up and up, and you know what also has been going up?
Uh-huh.
Carbon.
You know, I just don't know how we can deny it.
I don't know how anyone can deny it.
Look at our little cookie, the Christ. Oh, I love him so much. Don't pet against the grain.
Yeah, it's hard to the camera.
Oh, I miss him so much. My cute little boy.
Anyway, let's talk about it. Big victory. Ed Markey. He's an incumbent, but won against Joe Kennedy. Very big victory. For
First time a Kennedy was defeated. Am I right?
Yeah, in the Senate. I'm not sure on the presidency.
Yeah,
in the Senate.
'Cause,
or the
his
House.
brother ran for the president and didn't get it. John F. Kennedy, I mean. John F. Kennedy's brother. He was assassinated. Anyway,
A
we're
lot
not
of
talking about the
conspiracies
Kennedys
about
here.
that. A lot of conspiracies about
Yeah.
I think it's like over 50% of people think Lee Harvey Oswald didn't act alone. Crazy. Anyway,
Crazy.
climate change.
Climate change, environmental justice.
This is my number one issue, by the way.
I am not surprised. It's very important to me as well.
Yeah. Number two, probably, I don't know, healthcare or something like that, but economy, justice, racial justice, very high up there. But this is the number one because this is killing us, folks. This is killing everyone in the world. Ensure that the U.S. achieves 100% clean energy and
Ooh,
economy and reaches net zero emissions no later than 2050.
2050.
Zero, folks. Zero. Well,
A big zip.
zip. Nada, I think it is. Nada.
That is the one.
Zilch.
No, zilch.
Yeah. Let's go to share screen again.
Mm-hmm.
Build a stronger, more resilient nation. Not really sure what that means with climate, but rally the rest of the world to meet their threat of climate change. Make more deals. Make deals with these countries. Get back into the Paris Climate Accord.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. I would say the Green New Deal is very important too. Maybe hold China accountable. You want to talk about something China's doing? They're polluting the environment terribly, folks. China, India, some of those places, yeah. And
I mean, the U.S. is too.
The U.S. is too, absolutely. And here's what I want to talk about with the climate. Because do I think it's on the individual people driving the cars?
No.
No. I think it's the corporations who are making the cars. They're not making them efficiently enough.
And they're pouring
fuel efficient.
Yeah. They're pouring greenhouse gases into the stratosphere. No, into the air. With their production and everything, and they're dumping in the rivers, and they're not being regulated enough. And Donald Trump is cutting back on regulations for big businesses.
Just terrible, folks.
Which is the opposite of what we need right now.
Yeah. We're going to die, folks, if we don't take action soon. Let's go to share screen again. But I'm optimistic that we will change.
I hope that we can get
Solar Power International. Solar power is very good. 100% cleanup. Okay. Use the federal government procurement system, which spends $500 billion a year to drive towards 100%. Ensure the U.S. government installations, building facilities are more efficient and climate ready. Doubling down on liquid fuels of the future, which makes agriculture. Saving consumers money and reducing emissions through new aggressive appliance. Protecting biodiversity, very important.
Yeah, very important.
Never take environmental science, very important. Slowing extinction rates.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I don't think he supports the Green New Deal, but still, he would be hell of a lot better than Trump. And he would get us in the right direction.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of scrolling through. See if there's any
good talking points here.
Yeah. Basically, we need to get off fossil fuels, and we need to do it now. I'm pretty sure he's against fracking, and people say that like that's a bad thing. I'm against fracking. I'm against hurting the environment. That's a bad thing. I'm sorry, folks. That is not a bad thing.
It's not. It's a point in his favor, as a matter of fact.
I'm curious of what you think of nuclear energy.
See, this is a question I got on the political compass test. I think I answered I'm in support of it as we move towards a cleaner method.
Oh, you took the compass? Send me the results. The political compass or
it was a website and it didn't load for me. It didn't load my results. I'm so sad. I sidewith.com.
I love that site.
Oh,
that is perfect.
I think, yeah. I'm not going to donate to you. Hello. But what I was saying was that I support it in the now, but I think we should be moving away from it and towards cleaner energy solutions.
Yeah. Wind, solar.
Wind, solar, geothermal.
Geothermal. What's geothermal?
Hydroelectric. That's harnessing the heat of the earth.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting.
I doubt it. I don't think it's as like efficient as wind or solar are, or like easy to use, but it is another alternative method.
Yeah. So let's talk about primaries.
Okay.
Are you more hopeful for 2020 or 2022?
For the House and the Senate?
Yeah.
I honestly am hopeful about both of them. What with 2018 didn't go as well as we'd hoped that it would for the Democrats, but we
really good though. I mean, we got AOC, I think Ilhan Omar, the squad, and I love this. Let me say, I love the squad.
Me too.
It's basically, I think, 4 women of color who are very, very good, and they get attacked, racist attacks all the time from Trump.
horrible.
Send them
He
back.
talks-
Have you heard that? Send them
Oh,
back.
Send him back. Yeah, I have. To Ilhan Omar, wasn't it specifically?
Yeah. And
It's
she's an
absolutely
American,
reprehensible.
folks. She's an American. Let's be clear. America is a diverse place.
Mm-hmm. Well, he did that with Obama too, just because he's not
Yeah.
white.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He's doing it with Kamala Harris now.
Kamala Harris now. Like, who didn't expect that, honestly? But what we're saying about the primaries, I'm hopeful about 2020. I think that people have had enough of Trump. I hope that the Democrats can get the Senate and the House, hopefully. But yeah, I think that people want to see change, and I think that they're going to go out and support that. My only worry is because of all this coronavirus stuff,
Yeah.
that we already saw a lot of worries about corruption in the election and trying to prevent people, suppress mail-in voting. I'm a little bit anxious about that.
Yeah, a little bit. But Cori Bush,
Oh,
that's a good one. I went over her platform. Very good. Justice
Yeah.
Democrat. So, like in 2022, I think Ed Markey set an example that you've got to support these things. You've got to support AOC. You've got to support the Green New Deal. You've
Mhm.
got to support Medicare for All. We're forcing them. Don't be nice to those corporate Democrats, folks.
yeah.
Force them to do your bidding. They're supposed to represent you. You're not supposed to represent them. They're supposed to represent you.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because in the past, we've seen it as more like you have to play to the center to be able to win. And now it's almost the opposite, where you have to support these newer, more left ideals to get support.
Yeah. Let me say
Right.
something that I think is very okay. So if it was Bernie as the nominee,
Mm-hmm.
I would be less worried, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he really has a stronger base. He's got more supporters, I think. I mean,
he fires more people up. He gets more people enthusiastic about
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
but here's what I like about Joe Biden that is going to be good. He doesn't sound like a politician when he talks.
He does just sound like a guy, like your grandpa or something.
Yeah, he's like great Uncle Joe. And I think that's a really good thing. Bernie Sanders is like your angry grandpa who you really love.
Yeah.
He's like, I have an uncle that's like that. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I have an uncle like that who's very angry a lot of the times. And he says what he means. So that's what Bernie
Mm-hmm.
is like. And I think that's also very good.
They're
But,
just
like,
two different types of
Joe
politicians.
Kennedy is like, the values of our nation bring us closer together. We must work as a unit to defeat Donald Trump. That's just when you just talk like a politician and you don't say anything when you say a lot. You say a
Mhm.
lot without really saying anything.
A lot of politicians do that.
People hate that. People are sick of that crap.
People like to see real people, which I think is probably why it was Biden and Bernie
Yeah,
this year.
because they seem very real. Beto O'Rourke, I don't think he's I mean, he doesn't talk like, guess who he endorsed?
Who?
Joe Kennedy.
Not surprised.
So anyway, now let's ask our $1 million question. What third party would you vote for, or would you? I mean, not that you're going to vote for because
Support.
you're not going to win. What do you support? The
In a
platform
third party.
of? What third party?
I'm gonna have to say the Green Party for that
Me
one.
too. Me too. Mainly they're left wing, very
Mm-hmm.
left wing. They have a lot of good social democratic
Yep.
ideas. They support environmental justice.
They have all the right ideas about environmental justice, like we were just talking about that. But I think that's really what we need in our country right now, is a little bit more action towards climate change.
And what do you find the most interesting? And I think we're in agreement on this. What third party do you find the most interesting?
Now, interesting doesn't mean we support their policies, but I think that both of us would say the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't agree with them at all on economic stuff. They're laissez-faire. Is it laissez-faire or laissez-faire?
In French, it's laissez-faire, but people say laissez-faire in English.
Yeah.
The Libertarian Party is interesting to me because you look at it and it kind of almost looks like a marrying of some left and right ideals.
Yeah.
Because you normally
Socially.
associate like the social stuff, like being socially liberal with the Democrats, being fiscally conservative with the Republicans. The kind of like laissez-faire, like get the government out of people's business for the economy is very Republican, but for the personal side, for the societal side, it's very Democratic. Like legalize drugs, legalize gay marriage, let anyone marry who they want to. Libertarians just have a very get the government out of my face.
But then they're
kind of
also
feel.
interesting on certain, like they support abortion even too.
Yeah, because they don't want the government regulating that stuff.
Yeah, and what is it? The interesting thing they marry is guns too. They're very
Yeah, exactly.
gun pro. So
Because again, they want people to be able to do what they want. They don't want the government regulating guns. So
now
it's
they
just
also
very
don't
interesting
like
to see
taxes.
exactly. I mean,
And-
I hate to sound like a skipping record, but it all just comes down to wanting to be able to do their own thing and not have it be regulated.
Yeah, and I think we should pay taxes, but I think our taxes are going to wrong things.
They're
I think
not
our-
going to the right things. They're going to fund wars. They're going to fund the army and the police.
They're going to
Big business.
corporate bailouts,
Yep. They should be
Um,
going to education, to our transportation system,
to healthcare.
healthcare.
I think that just about wraps it up. So this has been Robert Christopher Foley and
Jacqueline E. Foley.
yeah, we will see you next time, folks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so let me stop recording.